Welcome back. Right now, we are going to focus on a great comedy special coming up. In fact, it's premiering tomorrow on Comedy Central. I recently spoke with Josh Johnson, comedian, a writer for The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. This is his first 1 hour special, a great time to laugh and enjoy. Let's find out more right now. Speak with comedian and The Daily Show writer Josh Johnson, who is taking center stage in his first 1 hour special on Comedy Central called Trevor Noah Presents Josh Johnson #. Thanks so much for being here on Park City Television once again, Josh.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell me more about Trevor Noah Presents Josh Johnson #.
So basically throughout the pandemic, I had like a sort of strained relationship to social. It became like everything that I did, and I was trying to get away from it because I felt like it wasn't that healthy, and I was trying to put down my phone and go out and have real experiences. And then through having those real experiences, I just saw like I had some good ones, but it was also insane. So I tell those stories and I just relate back to people like how I processed the pandemic and everything, and then my friends that were dating during the pandemic and stuff, and all of that is sort of mixed in together to create this hour, which feels very of the time and everything. I do mostly write for a sort of like timeless space. That's the dream, is to not just be universal but to be timeless in your comedy. But I felt like for this specifically, because it was a thing that happened to the whole world, it would be the most universal to be specific about my experiences in this, because I think so many people will have had the same ones.
And when you reflect back and you think about what you did to handle the pandemic, you mentioned putting your phone down, and I know this is part of the special, but what stands out to you? Anything that you really will take away or remember from this unique and stressful time?
Yeah, so I think that for the most part, one of the most important things that I try to remember, even now that things are opening back up, and that I hope that people that watch the special and are also going back out into life remember, is that the pandemic was a distinctly expressly un-American thing. It made us stop, it made us slow down, it made like all of those things normally make us uncomfortable. Like the American culture is about like hustle, grind, get more, do more, all that stuff. And for the most part, a lot of the people that had to like sit down and be alone with their thoughts and everything were able to reflect in a way that inspired a lot of growth that normally you don't get the chance to, because you are just grinding out as much as possible, whether it's for your career or just to get by. And I think that I hope that people hold on to that, and I hope I instill a little bit of that in the special through the humor of it, but also just through telling about my own experiences and how like I got so much out of just going for a walk, like no phone, anything. And I think that all of that stuff is important, and I hope it sticks with us.
As a comedian, and you're a hilarious one at that, you do such a good job. And I'm curious though, throughout this hard time, is it ever hard to find the humor in things, or because it's just second nature to you, is that always where you're going? You're always able to see this different, humorous, kind of more positive or darkly humorous side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's a bit second nature, but I think that that's not just about being a comedian. I think that I've been very awkward in conversation one on one in just real life, you know? And I think that's because I'm pointing out the things in a one on one conversation that I would normally be pointing out on stage, and it would be funny. But if I'm doing it to just a person and we're just talking, it feels crazy. I understand how I come off to people, you know? And so I think that for me, it because of the way that I think is such a big part of who I am, it's never really that hard to find humor in things, especially if you don't take anything too seriously. But then I think that the hurdle that I've had to overcome is knowing when to like adjust that or turn that off in like a regular conversation, you know?
I can't imagine that. It must be hard at times, but also, you're a great person to be around. I'm so looking forward to this special. Can you tell me about anything else that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so I actually have a mixtape that just came out on June 11th, and it is a mix of my stand up and then music that I co-wrote and co-produced with my friends, some very talented artists and musicians. I worked with Wayne Tucker, who's out of Brooklyn, and I worked with Groovebox, who's in Chicago. Mike Realm executive produced the project, and like Point Lobo mixed and mastered. And there's funk, hip hop, R&B, and some new spins on some Negro spirituals. And so you're gonna hear a few jokes and then a song, and a few jokes and a song, and the songs basically sum up the same subject matter that the jokes were just about. So even though the songs are serious, they're all covering the same thing.
And how can we follow you and find out about everything you're working on and listen to the mixtape?
So you can listen to the mixtape anywhere you download or stream music. It's on Spotify, Amazon, Deezer, all that stuff. And then you can find me on the socials. I took a break, but I'm back. And you can check me out on Instagram at Josh Johnson Comedy, Twitter at Josh Johnson, Facebook at Josh J Comedy, and YouTube at Josh Johnson Comedy, where I post my stand up and I also post clips from my podcast, The Josh Johnson Show. And I'm now realizing I say my name a lot.
Well, of course, we don't want to miss out either on Trevor Noah Presents a Josh Johnson hashtag. It premieres this Friday, June 18th at 11 p.m. Eastern Time on Comedy Central and will be available on Paramount Plus in August. Josh, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, and I can't wait to tune in.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me again.